This was the moment I got my first ever sale.
It's a feeling of excitement that every entrepreneur tells you about. And honestly, it feels pretty good to join the club. So how do we get here?
Well, as you know, I'm designing a relief tool for TMJ and chronic jaw pain. If you're interested in the product development, check out some of my other videos. But there's a lot more to it. My goal is to make this a product, because from my personal experience, I've noticed how underserved the TMJ community is by the market. As a result, I decided to make a brand. With it, I write blogs and run an Instagram account where I post things like jaw exercises, cautionary tales, stuff like that. Over the past couple months, I got the account to around 300 followers just by posting relevant viral posts on the TMJ subreddit and linking the Instagram, as well as going to bigger accounts and interacting with their commenters and followers.
To be honest, it's not exactly the grind that I like doing, so I'm not really posting as much as I should, but I do really understand the importance, so I try to stay at least somewhat consistent.
Anyways, after Kickstarter wouldn't let me on their platform, I decided to host my own pre-order campaign.
My goal here is less about raising money and more about gathering my highest converting customers and basically gauging how much demand there's going to be. This is a lot different than Kickstarter. In a Kickstarter, the goal is to explode onto the scene, get every single family member, friend of friend, follower to go and donate on day one. Go hard on organic marketing. Find every single blogger and influencer to shout you out, all in the hopes of milking the platform for its organic traffic. For me, though, I can take things a little slower, take some more time to experiment.
It's because of this experimentation that I've learned something obvious on paper, but much more important than paper could ever instill in me. That trust is everything. It turns out that I'm actually asking a lot of people. Customers have to trust that I'm going to finish development, production, and then ship it to them 6 months later. And pre-orders on my website are nowhere near as trustworthy as those on Kickstarters, which is why I'm blown away to even get 5 people giving me their money. You'll notice I smartly changed it to be a pre-order deposit that would give them 30% off when it's launched, instead of making them pay the full price.
In hindsight, I probably should have charged less than $15 because then I would have gotten a lot more conversions on the pre-order. But also, the more they spend, the more likely they are to convert into full orders later. So maybe it all balances out in the end and it doesn't really matter. Plus, it feels nice to recoup some of my advertising costs.
I started out the experimentation with Google Ads because it would give me a lot of good data on whether people were really searching for TMJ relief devices. I was very relieved to confirm my suspicions that the TMJ community was underserved by seeing how low competition was for my keywords. But first 2 days, the results were looking a little too good. 22% click-through rate? That's just insane. As an engineer, I'm used to debugging, but I'm not used to it costing me $20 every time I make a mistake. It turns out that Google's recommended settings are actually only recommended if you're going to throw your money out the window. All my clicks were coming from some random websites and non-US countries, even though I set my location to the US. So, pro tip, you have to switch off Google Partner Advertising and go into location and change the default to people only located in the US, not people located and interested. Love you.
Google.
After getting that sorted and dialing in my search ad, I was still getting around 10% CTR, or click-through rate, which is still really good. But all that and I got 0 pre-orders.
This is when that little trust thing really started to sink in. People searching have literally 0 reason to trust my brand. They're not going to put money down on something that has no reviews, no articles written about it, that they'll receive in 6 months.
So, the next step was to tap into the TMJ community. I started telling my followers about the device. And I mean, I would literally go in and DM them about it. A post format that worked was asking people to comment about their TMJ symptoms for a discount code. And then I would DM them asking them about their problems and slip in the product link. That's the kind of stuff that builds trust. I'd also go into Facebook groups and Reddit and pose as myself while sneaking in the product link in one way or another. This also gives some trust since the recommendation is coming from another person. But doing this, you gotta be genuine and provide some value, or else no one's gonna care. All that to say, I now have a much better idea of how to continue gathering pre-orders while I'm still developing. First thing I want to try is to test UGC ads on Meta. UGC means user-generated content, so more like fake UGC ads. Basically, get a girl to go on and pretend like she's got an early release of my TMJ pen. Then talk about how much she likes it, and in the end, tell the viewer to pre-order for 30% off. In theory, this will be a lot better than search ads, but we'll see. The biggest thing I have to focus on, though, is creating a funnel using my Instagram page. And that means taking posting much more seriously, which I'm honestly not too thrilled about. But gotta do what you gotta do. I do have some fun ideas. I'm thinking it would be really cool to walk around somewhere and ask strangers to talk about their TMJ disorders. In theory, 5 to 12% of the population has TMD, so it can't be that hard to find them. And then in the end, I'll tell them to try out that my TMJ pen, which I think will be an insane marketing tactic, especially if their jaw clicks. Because I can't say this is going to cure TMJ disorder, but after a minute of use, their jaw should stop clicking after a bit from my testing. And that's going to be a really cool reaction. I'll also try to keep up with some easier content, like talking about celebrities that have TMJ or something like that.
But yeah, those are my updates for the last 2 weeks. So thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want to keep up with the progress. See ya.